Judges. Elijah's high school years were tempestuous because George, Elijah's dad, forced him to go to church all weekend. Elijah absolutely hated church. God had become the great limiter of his life, the chief enemy to his fun. Elijah wanted to be master of his own destiny, captain of his own ship. One thing that no one ever told the youth of the early 90s is that life always has limitations. Do what thou wilt is the sum of the teenage modern mind. It's also the main maxim of modern occult religion. Going to church was not what Elijah willed. Hair growing long every time, and Uncle of course reminded him of this. George would make Elijah cut his hair prematurely. What does hair have to do with God? So typical. They have made their God in their image. Be good now so you don't burn in hell, because they are such professional judges. They have made their God the great judge who will throw me and all my friends into hell. Oh, please sign me up. Not only do I have to endure this hell weekly, their God is going to keep me there eternally. Wow, I just said their God. Yeah, if you are around, I don't feel you. So in the meantime, I am going to stick to reality. My friends and I are perfectly happy without your rules. Elijah would loop through this narrative in his mind endlessly at church. It got to the point that this thought turned into a specific shape in his head. All he had to do was mentally look up to the right, and this shadow of thoughts looming over him would express itself in a moment. All the feelings of resentment and frustration ensued and flowed quickly into his heart. Elijah Habibi, come and dress as a deacon. Elijah, stand up, it is the gospel. Elijah, can you serve in the altar? He wanted to say no, but he could see his mom watching him like a hawk. He always felt like such a disappointment in her eyes. Sally wasn't angry with him like George was. No, disappointment, in Elijah's eyes, was a much more violent feeling. She never failed to remind him, Habibi, you're not going to church dressed like that. Habibi, what were you doing during the sermon? Oh, you went to the washroom for 45 minutes. Do you think that is appropriate? Habibi, what were you and Menel laughing about? Do you think it's appropriate to be laughing during communion? Judges. He felt completely surrounded by judges. Of course, there was Uncle Ansi and his unexplainable post-communion euphoria. Man, he is such a nice guy. But is he ever deluded? Hi, Elijah. I am so happy to see you. Hi, Uncle. Elijah, I wanted to talk to you about something. Sure, Uncle. How is it that he is always so smiley? Honestly, what is so good about his life? Elijah, I wanted to tell you something that you might not understand right now. I am going to be leaving for Egypt in a few weeks. What? No, you can't do that. Is everything okay, Uncle? Everything is fine. Actually, it is more than fine. I haven't told anyone at church this, but I will be going to Ambabola's monastery. I am seeking to become a monk. Wow, that's amazing. I am so happy for you. But why are you telling me this? Why me? Uncle Ansi chuckled in the most peaceful way. Habibi, he said, I know you feel so lost at church. I know that you see all the people around you as fake and that they are all judging you. Remember that you shouldn't do as they are doing. You should also be careful not to judge anyone. But I am only telling you because you belong to heaven. You are not the only one who used to talk to Mana. She loves you very much. And so does Mar Mena. You may have forgotten him, but he hasn't forgotten you or left you. Elijah's head was spinning. You have nitrogen monoxide idea what I have done? You don't know me. I am not that innocent kid who used to hug trees and stand for long times in front of the candles. Me, Uncle, me? Are you sure? Uncle Ansi smiled even larger. Next to either side of his eyes were the deepest smile wrinkles. Even when he wasn't officially smiling, his eyes looked like they were. Of course, I am sure, Habibi, heaven is waiting for you. You will one day be one of us. Don't forget my words. You will be one of us. Uncle Ansi hugged him. And though Elijah's heart was in the dead of winter, there sometimes shows up a warm breeze and a sun that is just a little warmer. Oh, what that breeze does to a soul stuck in the January blues. Spring may actually come this year. That evening, Elijah told his parents that he was going to study at Joshua's house. He called Joshua from the downstairs phone. Cell phones still didn't exist at this point. Joshua answered the phone. Elijah whispered, "Hey, I am in." "In for what? What are you talking about?" "I'm in. I'm ready to try it." "What? Did you just say you're ready to try it?" "Yes." "What happened?" "You've been saying no for 2 years now." "Faith crisis." "Just shut up. Tell me where to meet you." "Okay. I am in Wall. Meet me at the park by your place. +++. Elijah held the empty water bottle with a hole in its side. The cigarette had a little piece of black substance on its tip. Joshua lit it up, placed the cigarette into the bottle. Both watched as the bottle filled up with smoke. "You ready? Empty your lungs. Breathe in the smoke and hold it in for as long as you can." All he remembered was Kurt Cobain's slurring voice singing in the background. "Smells like Teen Spirit." With the lights out. "It's less dangerous, here we are now. Entertain us, I feel stupid, and contagious, here we are now. Entertain us, a mulatto, an albino, a mosquito, my libido, yeah. Hey, I'm worse at what I do best, and for this gift I feel blessed. Our little group has always been and always will until the end. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello." With the lights out. "It's less dangerous, here we are now. Entertain us, I feel stupid, and contagious, here we are now." Ironically, the band's name was Nirvana. That night, as Elijah was stumbling home, walking next to his bike, he saw a car with something on its rooftop. He sobered up quickly, thinking it was a cop. Adrenaline was pumping through his veins. But what happened next was almost worse than the cops. A taxi car pulled up right next to Elijah. Elijah called out Uncle Ansi, the crease lines in his eyes as pronounced as always. "Don't spend too much time running. Remember, you are one of us. Heaven is waiting." Uncle Ansi didn't wait for his response. Left alone under a street light, completely alone, Elijah didn't know what to do with himself. So he took the next step into a future that seemed far greater than himself. "Just get yourself to bed." Then Cobain's voice eased things. With the lights out. "It's less dangerous, here we are now. Entertain us,